The Wayne County Commission Committee on Ways and Means budget hearing will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Scott, Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Here.
Commissioner Marecki, Commissioner Clementi, Commissioner Anderson,
Here.
Vice Chair Baydoun,
Here.
Chair Kinlock.
Present.
We have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda.
Item B, Chair's remarks.
I have none. Next item.
Item C, approval of minutes from the September 17, 2025 meeting.
So moved. It's been moved by Baydoun, supported by Anderson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, this action stands approved. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Next item, item D, unfinished business. There's one item listed requesting Commissioner approval of the recommended two-year comprehensive executive budget and appropriations ordinance for fiscal year 2025-2026 and 2026-2027, including the recommended operating budget plans for fiscal year 2025-2026 and the projected budget for fiscal year 2026-2027.
Proceed to the presentation, Madam Clerk.
We'll have a presentation by the probate court.
First of all, I'd like to say good afternoon and thank you for joining us today. I also have been informed that our chief judge of probate is unable to attend because of a family matter. And please let Chief Judge Braxton know that this commission sends its condolences to him, and our thoughts and prayers are with him. And I would like to ask, as you make your presentation, I'd like to start off by saying that we received the budget from the CEO, and we would like to ask for you to talk about the priorities that you began at the top of this fiscal year, challenges, and even some priorities moving into the next fiscal year. So you may begin your presentation.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And pull it up a little closer too. Yeah.
Okay. Does that work? All right. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. As you mentioned, our chief judge is unable to be here because of a death in his family. So hopefully we'll do our best.
You'll be all right.
So I'm April Maycock. I'm the court's probate register and IT director. I've been there forever, like 33 years now. So I've been there a very long time. So also with me is Jennifer Parmalee. She's our chief deputy probate register. She's been there like 3 years. So
a newbie.
But no, wait, Jonathan Edwards, our new budget manager, less than 6 months. So.
Great name.
He's our newbie. So we will do our best to answer any questions that you have and give you kind of a brief summary, as you mentioned, of what we've been doing, what we're going to be doing. So I will start, as I mentioned, our chief judge is unable to be here. We started the year with significant changes on our probate bench. We've had a steady crew for many years, and now we're starting to see some movement. So our former chief judge, Judge Burton, as I think many of you know, we're sad to see him leave and retire, but we're very happy to now have Judge Braxton leading our court as chief judge. So he's providing strong and dedicated leadership to this court. So we're happy to see that transition. With that transition, we have had the behavioral health unit up and running for several years now. So Judge Braxton has now taken over Judge Burton's role in that. And under his leadership, the BHU, the Behavioral Health Unit, continues to expand the assisted outpatient treatment program. And the goal of this program is to reduce incarceration and hospitalization of individuals with mental health challenges through coordinated treatment and support. So our partnerships with community agencies, ongoing training, networking events have strengthened the program. Notably, the program's success has influenced expansion efforts beyond Wayne County. So the Michigan Diversion Council is now providing funding to additional counties to support and establish their own AOT initiatives. So that's a big deal for us. I know it was near and dear to Judge Burton's heart, and we continue to carry it on. So we're seeing a lot of success there. It's difficult, of course, but there's a lot of collaboration with our partnerships to make it happen. Moving on, one of our challenges, one of our biggest challenges is our ongoing challenge is the high number of self-represented litigants we have in our court. So, obviously we're the largest county in the state, largest probate court in the state, and many that come to our court in particular don't have legal representation, and they often seek legal advice from our staff, which is something court employees are prohibited by law to provide. So it's always this dance, they need help. We want to help them, but we can only kind of give procedural guidance. We can't tell them what's the best course of action to take, give that advice. So people get very frustrated, and they often need attorneys to help guide them. But all we can do is say, these are the forms for this, these are the forms for that. So it's a tough thing. So that's one of our big challenges. So what we're doing to try to address it is we've expanded our online resources. So our website, our YouTube channel, we offer step-by-step guides. Our YouTube channel literally has a video showing the public how to complete each form of probate court. So it guides them through step one. This is where you put your name. This is where, be sure to sign it. So we have YouTube videos and links right on our website. We also have a checklist on our website that says you need this form because it's very complicated, right? All these state forms, SCAO, people don't know how to fill them out. We are prohibited from helping them fill it out. So we hope that these tools will help guide them and give them instruction so they know exactly what to do. So that's one thing that we continue to try to expand upon. We keep adding additional videos, additional information on our website. We've also, I think last year we talked about our website chatbot, Ask Wayne. So you can ask Wayne right on our website, how do I start a probate case? And it kind of guides you through the website material to point you in the right direction. So it's not like full blown, AI or anything crazy. It's just a tool that's used to help provide information from our website in a readable, relatable way to the public. So speaking of all that digital stuff, our digital transformation, I think we mentioned before, back in 2023 is when we finished the complete digitization of all paper files in Wayne County Probate Court. So this is a big deal for us because it helps improve access and efficiency to these documents. You can access them from anywhere. The public can access all public filed documents that were filed after April 1st, 2022, because there was PII legislation that passed then for protected information. But everything after that date that is public, the public can go on our website and for free, they can pull up the page, they can print it if they want to. Back in the day, you had to come down to the court, request a copy, pay for a copy. And, people have asked us, Jennifer and I have gone to conferences and they're like, well, you're losing that money, that $2 copy fee. And, our take on it is we're not losing that much because the staff we needed to do that, the salaries that you're paying them, it doesn't make any sense. And then that way the public can just get what they need when they want it from the comfort of their own home. So, that's where we're trying to be flexible, meet public, where they are, and not have them come through any additional hurdles to get what they need from our court. We also provide a lot of flexible access to our court services. We talk about being a modern, fully accessible court. So we accept documents and requests for service any kind of way, basically. They can file pleadings, request service through email, fax, mail, in person. They can come down through our website. We continue to offer Zoom hearings. So people don't have to take off work and drive downtown and pay for parking and go through security. And this has improved attendance to our hearings significantly. We have fewer adjourned hearings. People show up. They could just duck out of work for, half an hour or so, attend their hearing. So we want to continue to offer these types of services because that's what the public demands of us. We don't want to be stuck in a world from 20 years ago when people expect, kind of quick, accessible service from anywhere. This past year, we also did some enhancements to our security measures, which is a very hot topic for everyone, I think. But we've installed security cameras on our floors. We've upgraded our card access system. We have physical access controls throughout the courthouse. So, the badge system to allow our staff to get through certain doors, but not the public. So we've made some improvements there. We've also renovated our main customer service area on the 13th floor of KMAC, right across the street. So it's much more space. There's lots of seating for our customers. We have a couple of computers that, the public can come and view files if they want to come on site to do that. We have staff there ready to help them answer questions, guide them through the process. So again, we're trying to hit it from all directions of how people want to be served. With that, we also installed a new visitor management application, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like at the restaurant, when you wait for your turn in line, you give them your cell phone number and then you get a text like it's your turn. So we've installed that at our probate counter on the 13th floor. So that's kind of nice. It helps navigate that crowd, and then we display kind of, who's next and how long. So that was kind of a fun. We're still tweaking it a little bit, but trying to keep the technology going to help us and the public. We've also pushed toward more cloud-based systems. So instead of storing all of our digital documents on premise, which is on, physical servers at our courthouse, we've moved more things up to the cloud using OneDrive or SharePoint so that we have greater accessibility for our staff and backups, right? So if things go down, or, we've had a situation, what if the power went out in the courthouse, or what if, anything, this one thing didn't work? Well, we could still access all our documents and everything online. So that's helped. We're using Teams, the meeting collaboration tool with our staff. They're becoming very familiar with, and now they chat to each other. So it's kind of it helps bring people together, especially in a world where we're hybrid. We've got some people remote, we've got some people on site. So we're just trying to work to keep that connection going with our staff. Other technology upgrades we've recently accomplished are courtroom audio video recording systems. We had got a fresh upgrade. The video conferencing tools, much like in this room, we have conferences that you can do hybrid meetings, both Zoom and on site. And different things in our network, operating system upgrades and server upgrades, things of that nature. So another pain point for us, however, is we continue to have challenges with staffing turnover. Last year's turnover rate for us was 28%, which is quite significant. And on top of that, we've had many employees on leaves of absence. So it creates, that hole of service. We're here to provide the public service, and often we don't have staffing available to do that. So we continue to try to find ways for recruiting and retention and keeping people and making sure we have the right fit of person for the job. And also looking into the future for succession planning. We have our eye on, who may be retiring, and then try to groom people to fill those positions. So when looking ahead, we plan to continue to focus on staffing, retention. We're also looking ahead to our case management system and what else we can do for the public to make it easier. And one of the things we'd love to implement is the statewide e-filing system. While we haven't been contacted yet to pursue implementation, it's certainly one of the things we think would help the public interface with the court. We want to, definitely use all the great things our existing case management system allows us to do. And we think that the overlay of e-filing on top of that will just make it that much easier for the public. So we're kind of waiting for that. We're checking with the State Court Administrative Office to see when it's our turn, if you will. But I think that will help us. And then the other thing, we're looking into the future, kind of keeping our eye on this whole AI thing, right? So we're closely monitoring developments with artificial intelligence intelligence to assess how it might effectively and ethically be integrated into court operations in the future. This week is the Court Technology Conference in Kansas City. And while I'm not there, I did participate virtually in a couple of the meetings, and it's very heavy AI focused about what it means for courts, and what's going to happen. So we're watching because it's not all good, right? I mean, there's things to be concerned about. So before we make any leap into anything, I mean, I think it just really has to be evaluated as to how it can be beneficial for both court staff and the public and not be detrimental. So that's kind of what we're keeping our eye on. So that kind of concludes my updates. So I turn it back over to you. If you have any questions for us, we'll try our best to answer them.
Okay, well, I want to thank you once again for joining us today. But also I want to thank you and your team, the Chief Judge, because one thing I can say when I have constituency issues and questions, because like you stated, we have a lot of self-representation. And so your office has really been making itself available to answer those questions. I know that firsthand. And so I appreciate that on behalf of my residents. And with that, I'm going to call on commissioners who have questions. Commissioner Anderson, then Commissioner Marecki, and then Commissioner Mayberry.
Thank you.
And
Thank you and welcome. Appreciate all that you're doing to try to modernize the court even further than it was. And along that line, are we with the digital transformation? Am I to understand that all of your records relating to cases that have been settled, maybe 10 years, 20 years back?
That is correct. Initially, our first goal was to do everything physically in the courthouse with our active cases. So we did that several years ago. And then we moved, and 2023 is when we actually finished our offsite storage for those older files that have been closed at the Vigliotti building. And so we had a company that was wonderful. They picked up all the records. We had all these checks and balances to validate that the scans were successful, and those got implemented too. So we have all of our well, I got to be careful saying all, because there are certain things like original wills we have to keep, and certain documents that we do have to keep in paper format. But for the most part, all of our case files are digital. And now the access becomes a little tricky because of protected information on some of those scans. So those big batch files that I talked about that we back scanned, we do not display to the public because there could be social security numbers in there, or any number of things that we don't want to display. But the public can come to our courthouse and see them online. We can issue copies, we could redact, things of that nature. But it is digital, and it's wonderful because there's no more like, well, wait a week, we have to drive down and find the file and all these records and bring it back. So it's at our fingertips now. Multiple people can view things at the same time.
So if you were to give us some comparison of what was originally in storage in Vigliotti, and that was the only place, right?
Yes, that was our only offsite storage.
How much was stored originally and how much now is digital? Because it sounds like a large portion of it, maybe what, 80%?
Oh, higher.
90%?
I'd say 90.
Okay.
99% or something. We do have microfilm records still at Vigliotti.
And so any new things, new cases, they're automatically going to be done. And so it keeps it up to date, but you still have some records that you cannot have, that the public would not be able to have access to for security reasons, but you're, for the most part, continuing on that route.
Absolutely. So as new cases and new documents are filed, we have the 60-day hold shelf. So we scan it, we validate it, then before it's destroyed, we take another look at it to run through it before. So we don't keep paper at all. So all those things are digitized, and it goes through an electronic workflow. So if clerk A needs to make an entry, they do it, then it routes automatically to clerk B. then it routes to the courtroom for the hearing. Judges are now embracing like electronic docket prep. Jennifer has been really key in trying to, kind of help them along, and they're doing great. I mean, we have a wonderful bench, and, the tools available now just make it so much easier. You don't have to fumble with paper and where's the thing? So it's all digital. They can make electronic notes. So it's really nice.
That's great. That's great. Something, when I got here, I was surprised that there was very little, I think, that was digitized, or a very small portion. And we approved a lot of contracts, the commission did, to deal with the companies that could do that, scanning, and instead of having our employees all tied up scanning documents, old documents back 20, 30 years ago. But I appreciate the update, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Marecki, then Commissioner Marecki, then Commissioner Peterson, Mayberry, Baydun, and Baker McCormick, and then I'll go back around. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple questions in going off what Glenn just said. So this new law that has been made that after April 1st, 2022, everything's, so do you have to redact information on that before you put it online? Like, how do you do that if everybody can see everything now?
Right. So the things that we can't display online because it contains PII, we just hide it from.
You just hide
We
that
just
then.
make
Okay.
it restricted from the website.
Okay,
So you cannot see it at all. Now you can come to the courthouse and then we can, look at what it
Yeah.
is, redact, do whatever we have to do. So we just do not display. We don't want to risk anything getting out there at all.
sure. And so anybody that needs something before the April 1st has to come down and look at it at the
Yes.
courthouse. Well, you guys have done an amazing amount of work with all this technology. And I know some of the commissioners have been talking about the AI stuff even on our end. Because some of us go to national conferences and they've been talking about it the last couple of years, but it's so complicated and moving so quickly that it's hard. Okay, my last question is 28% of the staff left last year, and I see that there's a $430,000 increase for salaries, fringes, and pension. Is that going to help turnover, or what was the 28% turnover due to mostly,
was-
do you think?
Yeah, it was a combination. We had some retirements, so, that counted toward that. A lot of it, the majority, and we've had just a few people leave, for other opportunities, but a lot of it is that new hire situation where they're in that probationary period. They just started with the court. It's not for them. They don't like it, or, they don't show up, or so a lot of our turnover we're finding is in that first, 9 months, 6 to 9 months where they just don't make it.
Okay.
And it is expensive to recruit, train, and then find out, oh, it's not a good fit for them. So we keep working on, how can we better, go through the interview process and test and make sure we screen out people so that they know the expectations and what they're coming into. So it's not a surprise. Probate is difficult, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to deal with all these petitions every day.
Sure. Okay, so you're looking at different ways to
Tweak or,
weed people out at the beginning if they're not
right.
going to be ready for this kind of job. Okay, well, thank you. Great job. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Peterson, Mayberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So actually, two of those questions that were raised by my colleagues are very similar to mine. I also wanted to, one, just say congratulations on the modernization of the courts. I mean, the institutional reputation of probate court is not always the best and the customer experience. So if we can enhance that by any means, I think we're headed in the right direction. I noticed that there were comments around services being minimally, like the minimal services are done, but the list of services is extensive. So are those the services that are continuing to be done? And if that list is not inclusive of those that aren't, what services are not being done?
Those are all the services. I think what we're talking about, the minimal, is we got to move fast. I mean, we get a document, we've got a stack of filings waiting for us. Our clerks are moving. And so minimal, what I'd love to see is everyone spend more time on every single piece of paper to get it right, to even our judges, clerks, they've got huge dockets every single day and they're prepping, calling the docket, they're issuing the orders that afternoon. It's moving fast. And so we're seeing, we're balancing like quality control and errors and things like that. And, it's hard. There's a certain error rate that we have.
Yeah.
And I think what could make that better is just slowing down a little bit, which ultimately requires more staffing, right? If you're going to slow down, it's going to backlog,
Right.
and we can't backlog. So that's what we're kind of referring to, like minimum. We can get it done,
Yeah.
but is it always 100%? Is it always the A paper? These are new clerks, they're learning, and we don't have time, like our staff supervisors don't necessarily have time to review every single petition that a newer clerk has entered to make sure it's 100% accurate. And that it's like a balance with the resources.
Okay. One more question, as it relates to that turnover rate. So and I know we've talked to other departments around these exit interviews. So you mentioned that majority of I would say the exit is on the front end, people who just aren't getting it. But for those who have been there a while, do you see an increased number of those individuals leaving as well? And if so, how are we capturing the information?
We have seen, I think the overall, like I said, I've been there 33 years.
Yeah.
I think I'm the most senior person in the court now.
Mhm.
And back in the day when I started, there was lots of people that stayed 30 years. We don't see that anymore. And I think that is not just our court. I think that's society in general, that people aren't staying for the 20 years, the 30 years.
Mhm.
So I think we have to shift our court to no longer expect that.
Mhm.
We're not going to have these career folks that, promote all the way up. And so we're going to have this level of turnover, and we're going to have to build it into our structure.
That was my next point.
And
Yes.
how do we effectively do
Right.
that? So, one of the things we're looking at, where we had required in the past, we used to have this position called analysts that required like a high level of knowledge. People have been there for a long time. Now we have to kind of bifurcate the steps and say, your job is just from A to G, and that's it. And now you turn it to the next person. So you kind of have to chunk it and say, this is your role, only look for these things, because we can no longer expect someone that, oh, I remember 20 years ago before that law changed and this is what happened and now I know exactly what to do. So we have to change the way we manage, change the way we train,
Mhm.
change our expectations. That I think we're always going to have a higher turnover rate now. And how do we manage that and still have a successful, accurate court with good customer service?
I'll be interested in the solution for that.
Yeah, well, me too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Baydun and then Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, April, for the presentation. I had the opportunity of interacting with the probate court because I was a legal guardian for a family member. So I did see the benefit from online services. On the security measures, now you still have deputies inside the courtrooms, right?
Correct.
Okay. How's that working out in terms of the number of deputies in the courtroom?
It's been tricky because I think all of you may be aware there's security presence in
Yeah.
addition to supplement
Yes.
the number of sheriff deputies we have. So we do have on some floors the security officers in lieu of the sheriff deputies. So now it's just a navigating game of, when our judges are on site and they have hearings, we need a deputy to be there. So it's kind of this, game of contacting command, making sure there's a deputy available while still the deputies are available for our public access area, because that's where the majority of the public is. There's, very emotional situations. People get upset. So we do need our deputies on that floor at all times. And then sometimes we can, a security officer can be okay on this floor if there's no active hearings going on. So it's a little bit more of a managing game to make sure that we have
We
the
just want
presence
to
we
make
need.
sure, that you have adequate security at all times.
Yeah, we continue to work on it.
Okay. On the, I know several of the judges on the probate, and many of them do their daily business. Some of them, they do it on Zoom and some of them in person. Do you find that, what's the percentage, would you say, of Zoom meetings, hearing cases on Zoom versus in person today?
I think we had some stats, don't quote me, I can get you the exact numbers, but I think it was like 97% remote.
Oh, wow.
And we offer anyone to come on site and request on-site hearings. We have it on our website, we have a form. So we've had some people request on-site hearings, and then when they find out, okay, wait, I can do this at home and through Zoom, rather than come down, then they change their mind, they withdraw the pleading. So the majority of the on-site cases that we actually conduct, the hearings, are the judge issuing it because it's a complex matter and they want all the parties there, or, it's very contentious. But by far, the remote hearings is successful for probate court. I know it doesn't fit every hearing situation, but even our judges that prefer to be on site, they're on site, but they're conducting Zoom hearings from the bench.
Your office, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes.
So how many of the judges are coming in on a regular basis? I get it if they're gonna have Zoom in the courthouse. I mean, but how many are actually coming in?
Well, I'd say all the judges come in regularly, but the ones that we have a few, so we have 6 judges assigned directly to probate of our 8. And I'd say a good, maybe 2 regularly are there.
And the other ones
almost
are at
every
home
day.
doing the Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And I think it's just a preference. We offer remote work to some of our staff in some situations. And there's some people that just say, I can't be at home. I'm gonna walk the dog, I'm gonna do laundry, I can't focus. I need to be at work. So it comes down to personal preference sometimes as well.
Yeah, I had mentioned this last year. I mean, this is a consideration as a civil campus comes together, that if there are judges in areas that are never coming in, that's something that needs to be looked at when this new campus is made. So,
Absolutely. And
Thank
we're
you.
all about efficiency.
thank you.
Okay, yes, Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask as to how many probate judges actually are in
Oh,
in person. The other question I had, and thank you so much for being here, by the way. You indicated that there's an issue with self-represented litigants. Is there a cost to that when you say there's an issue with the high number that we have in Wayne County? How does that affect us, and at what cost?
It requires significantly more staff time to work with a self-represented litigant, because often they just don't have it right. They don't have the paperwork, they don't have the right forms. You have to guide them through it. There's a lot of back and forth. They're begging us to give them legal advice, just tell me what to do to help my mother. And we're like, we want to help you through this process, but we cannot provide legal advice for you. So that conversation, it takes a lot of time. I get calls every day. Jennifer gets calls every day, and that takes us away from the job of managing the court. So at every level, every staff person deals with this. And, I wish there was a magic solution that they can go through, a something before they come to us and get it right. Because then we could focus on, our staff and just cranking out the work.
And actually, that's the question. Is there something that you can provide, either in an electronic way or AI, as you were talking about earlier, to address that issue, kind of like a video, a guide? I think you talked a little bit about that, but that's not
It
helping.
helps. It
Okay.
definitely helps.
Okay.
But it's not the be all end all solution
Right.
because there's some that just they don't even want to look. They don't, just help me. I don't understand. I can't look at this video. I don't know how to navigate your website. Just literally tell me what to do. So that population continues to
Mm.
be a struggle. And it's so much back and forth. I mean, we spend so much time on the phone and so much discussion with, you gave us all your paperwork, but you didn't sign it.
Right.
I mean, you have to sign the paperwork. So
Oh, so I was gonna ask, so do you have designated individuals? Because you just said they kind of ask everybody, and I don't know if there's a need for a person or maybe two people or whatever to really just kind of help guide them initially, and maybe that would help everyone else in the process. I don't
for
know.
sure. I mean, that
Okay.
is the area where we don't have enough. I mean, we have a couple clerks that are responsible for all the on-site customers. They answer all the phones and they return all the emails. That is, it honestly is not enough
Right.
to deal with the population that we have because the rest of our court is doing the processing, right? They're conducting the hearings and prepping the docket and processing the paperwork. So it's difficult. We often joke that we could have a whole like phone center, with
But
100
just
people, a
questions.
call
Okay.
center, and it would still not be enough.
Okay.
Um,
All right. And my last question has to do with the guardianship concerns of residents. Can you just tell us how the guardianship process works and if there are any new guidance that you have on how these guardians are placed? Any information?
Well, the probate process, we do have, as I mentioned on our website, like a checklist of if you need an adult guardianship or a minor guardianship, it's kind of two different paths, and we kind of lay out the framework for what it takes to go through the process, to get your hearing, to get appointed as guardian, get your letters of authority, and then what powers you have over placing that individual or caring for that person. So as far as anything new, we've provided additional tools for the public to help guide them through, but there hasn't been any recent changes in legislation that would alter what we do or how we do things.
Okay, because there was some discussion, and I know on the state level that dealt with the issues around guardianship. But okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. I'll
Oh,
talk offline.
Jennifer has-
Yeah.
Thank you.
Was going to share
Oh.
that one of the key resources that we've spoken about outside of this commission, but that we continuously talk about at the court is there really is insufficient guardians who are willing to serve. And that's a problem that's statewide. So Wayne County being the largest county probate court, we see it in the greatest proportion, but we've definitely checked with all our counterparts throughout the entire state, lower and upper peninsula. It's a real issue. There's more need for guardians than there are guardians willing and able to serve. That's not just family, that's professional guardians as well. So I know we look to getting legislation that will be helpful for us and not provide a further hindrance to it. But as of right now, there's been no changes in the legislation.
And if you can send us what that would look like, I think that we might be able to help because I know that's the issue. I know for sure. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Clemente and then Commissioner Anderson. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Then Commissioner Anderson will be the last person. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not to beat this to death about getting you more people, but is there I don't know what the qualifications are for your office. Is there any type of, so our sheriff's office told they're hiring people and they're kind of putting them if they're not in their training classes, they're putting them with someone to kind of shadow or mentor with. What would you be looking for out of an individual to come to your office to work? Like, is there an internship possibility? Is there job shadowing? I mean, I don't know if that makes sense because I know it's very sensitive materials, but
Right.
what are you looking for employees?
For the most part, we're looking for entry level positions. So these are just clerks. They need to know how to type. They need to know how to read and comprehend materials in front of them so that they can then input that into our system and make sure that everything is complete. We have checklists. I mean, we've gone really far with our training tools. That's another thing we should really be proud of. We have this online in the cloud policy system that we review regularly, and our entire staff can go there and say it says exactly how to process each document.
Okay.
So really it's just about it's entry level, and they have to be willing and able to work. And one of our tests, our entry level tests, is literally we show them an easy policy and we kind of say, we have questions. Just read the policy and tell us, is this correct or not?
You have to be able to comprehend and you have to
Comprehend
have
and
some
type.
type of and type. Okay. All right. Very good. And my other question was, so these people that are do you know this when they're coming? Like, is there any way that they know? So you don't know. So they come and then that's where you're kind of having all this, asking questions and things, even if they call you, say, go look at these forms, make sure you have all this, but they can come. Okay, that's got it. Thank you. Welcome.
Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for a second time. I certainly, I think all of us are concerned about the number of people that you possibly need to make things function better. But and you've done the court's done a terrific job dealing with the problem that they have. What would you say if you were to put a number on it, if the commission decided to provide that additional people power?
I will ask Jennifer. She is the over our customer service area and has to deal with the folks that manage all of the public every single day. So what do you think?
Yeah, so as April indicated, right now we are leaning very heavily on 2 clerks. So 2 clerks who rotate being on site and working remotely because they are responsible again for all the customers who come in on site as well as all the phone calls that come into the court and all of the emails that come to the court. It is a large load of information that needs to be relayed. It's why we've really tried to make a lot of information consistent with the website. So I think the response earlier was that. I believe we could very easily have at least 5 of those. And I think that's a low number, but we're still trying to get 3 because I've had 2 now since we've implemented it. But I don't think it steps there because we've talked about shortfalls with clerk staff and rotating. And when we've had, I think April mentioned, we have had a lot of leaves of absence this past year that we've experienced. So not in our retention level, it's just our consistency of staffing that's been an issue. And as a matter of fact, one of those 2 AAs was out on leave. And so I was often coming down and being the customer support. So when April's saying we are taken away. I'm there meeting with the public all day long for the past 3 Thursdays. And so the staffing level is a real issue. I think just for customer support, we'd probably need at least 3 additional to keep current because we are in a backlog with that. The voicemails are significantly backlogged. That is our biggest time constraint would be the voicemails. And we even have additional staff who, when they're on site, do come in and help. So we're flexing them in when they have an opportunity. For example, one of the supervisors from the service clerks assists when she's on site. But yeah, overall staffing level at the court, what would you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. 5 would give us at least so someone can take a vacation and, call in, and then we have enough people in the spots. Right now, we don't. One person is out, we got to pull from other areas.
Something, Mr. Chair, I think we ought to look at it.
And the pay rate?
And these would be beginning positions, right?
This actually is an administrative assistant in GAA, so it's kind of midway of our range of service, because the thing is, you have to be knowledgeable enough to answer all these questions. It can't be someone who was just hired last week that doesn't really understand the court. So it's a little bit a higher level than entry level is this position that we're looking for.
Okay, quickly, Commissioner Baker McCormick on that point.
And I was just gonna ask, how many cases per year do we have in probate? Just approximately.
New filings or overall, do you remember that number, the filings? We can look it up. It's like 70,000 pieces of paper, not cases.
Oh.
Individual filings, right?
Okay.
Like, the things that we have to process. Now, new cases, maybe like 15,000 new filings for brand new cases. But the number of subsequent documents that come in
Mhm.
on not new cases, existing cases is substantial. And I know we report to the State Court Administrative Office a number of stats, including new filings, but often what's missing is that number of existing cases that go on forever. I mean, you think of a guardianship, you can have guardianship over a parent the rest of their life. It could go on for 20 years. So there's hearings involved with that. There's documents filed. So it's a lot of activity that's kind of hidden from the big statistics.
Okay, so just as a follow-up, I wanted to mention the earlier discussion about guardianships and how you said the legislation basically stalled, right? In that
As far as we
essentially
know.
it. Yeah. So we don't see anything happening with that because I've heard many cases just as you described, the ones that go on and on until the elderly person passes away or the person involved. I just wonder, how do we get out of this? I mean, and is there some way to expedite the process and to make it more responsive, I guess, to those? Because we've heard, I'm sure everyone sitting here has heard these horror stories about conflict of interest in some of the people that are guardians, and that their interest is not resolving problems for the client or the person, but monetary for themselves.
Right.
And that, how do we stop that without the new legislation? Is it even possible?
Well, I will say our bench has employed some additional steps in our letters of authority and orders that really clarify the powers that a guardian has. I think one of the issues has been many of the financial institutions operate nationally. And the term guardian isn't always used in other states, or conservator is what we use. In other states, they use the term guardian for both guardian and conservator. So sometimes the banks get confused. They see guardian and they're like, sure, you have access to all this money. No, that's really not how Michigan operates. So our judges have since recognized that, and they've taken additional steps to put directly in the order and on the letters of guardianship, this is what you can't have access to property. You can't sell real estate. You can't, this is what you have authority to do. Just take care of the person. And we specifically have in our orders now that the bench said, if you find a certain threshold of finances and assets, you must open a conservatorship so that we can track it and we can monitor it, so that those things that we didn't know about or don't know about, at least there's some kind of guardrails around that, hopefully. So there are some things the judges can do directly in probate without legislation to help protect the ward.
And are they sponsors of the legislation that was working its way through, but seemed to be stopped right now? Have they? The court has been involved in the process, right, to some extent.
well, not directly the court, but I know the judges through the Michigan
Association.
Probate Judges Association is involved with that. But I know there's been a lot of issues and different problems that we could see with some of the proposed legislation. So again, I'm not sure where it is right now.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the appreciate.
Okay, thank
appreciate
you.
The time.
Okay, we will now go to Commissioner Wilson, and then Commissioner Baydoun will be the last.
Thank you, Chair Kenlock. I think most of my questions have been asked here today, but just as a comment, I've been intimately involved with probate court. I think like Commissioner Baydoun has alluded to earlier. I'm a guardian now for my mother who's 92 years of age, and boy, it's a job. I was a guardian for my father who passed away in 2017, as well as his conservator. I've been through one marital dissolution. So I definitely know what you guys do down there. You do a great job. More importantly, lately with the Zoom, with the digitization of the court, I was able to get some paperwork taken care of for my mom just by going online and typing it in, and it was incredible. What would have probably taken me hours, parking fees, those type of things, a lunch, I was able to do it from my living room. So I'm going to say that's a very formidable service for our citizens. Even walking through the community, people, some that are unaware, I give them the information, the website information, and they're able to get on and conduct their business. So that is a very, very good thing that you're doing. Matter of fact, it's a game changer. So I want to say to that end, keep up the great work that you're doing down at the probate court, because all of us are going to go through that place at some point in time, whether you're getting divorced, whether you got to take care of your mother, your father, your kids running away from home. You guys doing a great job. So again, you to be commended. So just in closing, I do want to say that I did have someone previously who was a guardian, and they were getting compensated to take care of a loved one. So is there something that happened since 2020? I believe there was, because they were sort of compensating guardians or caregivers for looking after those who are vulnerable. So is there something that happened between then and now that, because you said you having a tough time finding guardians?
Yes.
Because like I said, I do it for my mom. I don't want to dime, but I'm telling you folks, they're getting paid. They might say, look here, I'll take care of that one, or I'll take care of this one. So
there is some changes, as you probably are all aware of, with Medicare changes and so forth. So in some instances, there might be attendant care fees that one can receive through public benefits, but it's not through the guardianship process.
Okay.
So it's outside of that.
okay.
But that law is definitely up in limbo right now.
Okay, well, that's why you have more guardians than I think. Now it's hard to get them. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Commissioner Baydoun.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, again, for recognizing me. April, my question is related to what Commissioner Baker McCormick talked about earlier. As a real estate broker, I deal a lot with real estate transactions where it's subject to probate court approval. Many times it takes a lot longer than, 6 to 8 weeks. It sounds like, 15,000 per year is a lot of probate cases. I'm not sure how many are related to sale of properties, but from start to finish, when an attorney submits and files paperwork with the probate, is the average is still about 6 to 8 weeks for approval for probate?
Yeah, so the filing process takes a few days to work through our queue to get the document filed. And then you pay for the filing fee, and then it's set for hearing, which depending on the judge and their schedule, it's typically about 4 to 6 weeks for that hearing. Now, I will say that we do have an emergency process. So if there's a pending sale that you're going to lose, you can indicate, we have a form on our website requesting an emergency hearing. And if you attach that to your pleading, we will fast track it and get it through.
Do they have to pay
quicker.
extra fee?
No.
Okay. It's good to know.
Yes. And for many situations, not just the real estate, but if, a guardian, there's a situation with the ward and you have to address it right away, definitely use that emergency process. That's what it's there for. And it pretty much goes straight to the courtroom.
Thank you, April.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to once again thank you all for coming, and please extend our condolences to Chief Judge Braxton. On the last point I want to ask, a lot of different courts have clinics. Is there a probate clinic that could be, a lot of times the Bar Association and some nonprofits, there's no greater need than probate, that we probably should reach out to some of those nonprofits for the purpose of establishing a probate clinic, especially since you see a lot of self-representation there. So that's just a thought, and I think it's something that we probably should connect with some of the bar associations. Yeah.
Prior to coming to the court, I actually served as the president of the Wayne County Probate Bar Association for a number of years. So I have good connections with that, and now I'm the court liaison to that
Yes.
committee. So that is an ongoing discussion we've had. In addition, I should let you know that we provide a list of all of the Michigan legal aid agencies to both electronically or in person, depending on how they reach out to the court. So we do that. And I know that I've also had discussions with one of our larger legal aid agencies in the area who is beefing up, I'll say, their probate section, because probate was often, we call it, it's the often forgotten section of law for those type of entities. So I do feel statewide, we're actually getting some more ground, because it isn't just our court, it is everywhere, but we want to make sure in Wayne County we get it. So I think we have goals, part of when we talk about the renovations of the way we function at the court is, would we have space available if we had an on-site presence of a legal aid, that they could meet with? So it's definitely something that we plan for. We just don't have yet.
Okay, well, yeah, absolutely. We will love to lift our voice in that effort. Okay, so look, I want to thank you again, and you will hear from us after we recommend this budget. Thank you.
Thank you all
Great job.
so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you for your time. Okay, we'll continue in 5 minutes. Yep.
Yes, yes.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
We have a presentation by the county clerk.
Good afternoon. We are in receipt of the recommended budget from the CEO as it relates to your department. As I have been asking every department that has been coming before this commission, whether or not the recommendation is one that sufficiently funds your office for the next fiscal year. We would like for you to start off by talking about any initiatives that are priorities that were set in the beginning of this year, how those programs and priorities and concerns that were raised earlier, how have they been addressed, as well as what are some new priorities going into the new fiscal year. And you may begin your presentation after your introduction for the record.
I simply want to say good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
And as far as your question, as far as the CEO recommended budget, I think that we were pretty good with it, listen close, with the exception of there was one position that was omitted, as well as they decreased our overtime by $900,000. However, we have had a verbal commitment from MNB that there would be a technical adjustment before the budget has been voted on. As far as this isn't in the budget, as far as the funding is in the budget. However, we are requesting, and I met earlier today with personnel, but we're requesting that we have at least 7 additional positions simply because of the mandated and unfunded responsibilities that we have now with Third Circuit Court as far as the automatic set aside and the juvenile lifer. So there's funding there. We haven't done the breakdown yet as far as to see as far as the salary ranges, but we know that we need a minimum of 7 because with those 2 projects is impacting the staff at the CJC facility as well as at the Vigliotti building. And all of this, as I said, is unfunded, but yet it's mandated, and it's caused pretty much those 2 things are like a new division within themselves. And with that, because of, I think it's the automatic set aside, I do know that the AG's office, I believe Third Circuit Court and MSP, they have established their own division as a result of that high volume of work.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so at this point, did you want to go into any high points of the recommendation that came from the CEO, and then we will go into questions from any commissioners if they have any. Okay, so we'll go straight into questions. At this time, I will now recognize Commissioner Scott and then Commissioner Maraki.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you for being here and your staff. What are these 7 positions?
They would be court positions. As I stated, because of the unfunded mandates where automatic set-asides as well as the juvenile lifers, that has caused a much heavier workload on the staff. And right now it's 5 individuals, including the person that manages it, that are doing this work. But this is in addition to what they normally have to do. And out of those 5, 3 of them are temporary employees. And so they're working late evenings as well as some Saturdays. So that's what they would be for, as well as at the Vigliotti building where the files are archived, is major there as far as the volume in addition to what they already are responsible for.
And you would bring those 3 temps on?
If they're cutting the mustard, absolutely.
Okay.
And they are, so the answer is
Oh, okay.
yes.
All right. I know that I have seldom have to come down to the court, but I mean to your office, but I've been down a couple times, dealing with some issues. But thank you so much. That's your staff has just been so kind, and it is busy down there.
Every day.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable. But thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Yes, appreciate you.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. Commissioner Marecki, I'm gonna like to ask, is there any other questions besides Commissioner Mayberry and then Commissioner Anderson? Yeah, Commissioner Anderson will be the last person. Yep, thank you.
Okay,
Your
thank you,
commission.
Mr. Chair. So I know about the juvenile one. What's automatic set aside?
The short version of it is for juvenile and adult expungements.
Oh, okay. I haven't.
And
heard
that's
of
been since 2023. The other one has been since May of 2025.
And this chief of staff, that's not our Cheryl Jordan.
No,
Okay.
she's our Cheryl Jordan. And she previously was a court clerk, so
Okay, so
that's why she.
Commissioner Peterson Mayberry.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you for all you do. I'll echo the sentiments, all the hard work down there in the clerk's office. Two quick questions. There was, it was mentioned about on-demand supplies and how there was a shortfall. I'm just wondering what those are, the on-demand supplies that are unable to be obtained with the current financial state. Is something going into, so salaries and wages increase and on-demand supplies.
Okay, that would
Just
be
anything.
simply overall supplies is something as simple as a manila envelope.
Oh,
We
just-
run out-
okay.
Yeah, because of the volume.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I thought it couldn't be that, but it is. Okay, and then the last thing, I see the salaries, and are those competitive? Because no, not because. Are those competitive salaries that are in this current pay schedule that we see for the positions for FTEs for 25, 26? And I'll just come out and ask, when I think of a clerk at 38,000, I'm just wondering, is that a competitive salary?
Commissioner, had you been here much earlier and 38, there's no one at 38 now, is
I
it?
mean, that's what's on here, so I
Okay,
didn't know.
okay, but this has been my drumbeat since I've been the clerk and the pandemic just exacerbated it. And so last year? Last year, the salaries were increased and based on the folks in the administration, it is supposed to be, what do they call it? Fair market?
Fair, yeah.
Supposed to be, but it's not where it used to be, but I feel it's not where it should be based on the responsibilities that come with those jobs and the volume of work, because we are the largest.
Yes.
Yeah, so based on the study that was done, it's allegedly competitive salaries at this point.
We'll see. Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate
A
that.
long ways.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The last thing, I know there's tons of outreach. I always see from someone from your office at all of my community meetings. So I appreciate that. And there's always a learning that happens at those meetings with the information and the resources that you're doing in the office. So thank you for that.
Thank you,
welcome.
Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you. Welcome
Thank
again.
you.
I wanted to ask about digitizing. How are we doing on that? Is that something that we're working on still? I know-
Somehow I knew that was going to be your question. I did. Just know that it's been at a halt. And again, I think as I stated with my last two budgets, that whenever the funding is available and we've requested it, maybe not in this budget, but it's like sometimes you get tired of beating a dead horse. No, it's not happening now, but that's something that I'm absolutely open to.
Contracting with an outside company to come in and do it for you? Because I know your time and your staff time.
Well, at the point when Kaufman was here and he was over the project and then it just came to a hard stop. I always felt that it would be better to, first of all, train the staff to do some of it. And then if you got additional staffing to do it, I'm always going to be pro train the internal people first. Now for expediency, absolutely, a company probably would be better, but if we had to have it, I would say in addition to.
I know that there's been several departments that have, in order to get caught up, to certainly to hire that outside company.
Yeah.
And then once the outside company's caught everything up, then of course it's done in-house. And if we need to hire somebody additional to do that. But are documents being
But
scanned currently?
if I can, even with the court, e-filing, so those things are being digitized. And then with our vital records system, those are digitized, but some of the older records are what's in abeyance. But probably what has been like the last 5-6 years, our concept of time is blown, but they are being digitized as they are being put in the system. Yeah.
I don't know, Mr. Chair, if we can do that at this point, but I'd like to see us provide, the funding for one of the companies that's done the scanning for the courts and other places, and there are several that are now more digitized or fully digitized, as we heard from the probate court. And I think the Third Circuit, I believe, they are pretty much digitized now. So, but they had to get outside help to get it done, to get caught up to the current day. And so I'd like to see us consider putting something together if we could do that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Commissioner Wilson.
Oh, I was just gonna say, last thing was, I'd like to see us minimize the amount of storage that we pay to some outside company, and rather than being able to have it digitized and where it's accessible to all employees, and instead of you having to take people to go down there. And I know there were, I'm trying to remember what department it was. They were having to send attorneys down to dig through files in the Vigliotti building. And it just seems to keep growing instead of shrinking.
It shouldn't be growing because the current records are being digitized. So what's down there are old things, even though old files are required sometime, but it shouldn't be growing.
Right, yeah. Okay, thank you.
It isn't growing.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Wilson. Okay, thank you. I want to thank you for coming. Okay, Commissioner Badon. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for being here. Wayne, thank you for all your help over the years, especially during COVID. He came through for many of us, honestly.
We're there for COVID.
Madam Clerk, along with Commissioner Anderson asked on the digitizing, do we have a ballpark figure of how much this process might cost, or we didn't even get to that point?
Absolutely not. I don't recall, because it was years ago when the attempt was made to make it happen. So I'm sure that is even more now, but I can get it for you.
Yeah, I think that's something we should consider. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr.
Chair.
Thank you. I want to thank you for attending this hearing today. The committee will be making its recommendation to the committee whole, and the commission will be making a final decision on the budget soon. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, may I share something
Okay.
that I would like for you to look out for in the future and be open-minded? And Dwayne was here. I don't think anyone on the commission was here. Some years ago, I came over and was proposing to the commission about bringing the clerk's office to the people. And at that time, people didn't have the fancy oversized van. So we talked about a bus. It was funny to some people, and obviously it never happened. But yesterday, I think with the treasurer, that was a game changer. The fact that I went to his ribbon cutting for his mobile unit. So please know that the county clerk will be coming regarding a mobile unit. And then also, we've been in conversation with the Secretary of State's office, because during that Real ID, I invited her office into my office to expedite and streamline people getting all the documents they needed. So we've been talking with their office to tap into the vendor that did their setup so that we can at least do that at some of the what do you call them? Research fairs or whatever. Yeah, resource. Thank you. But that's all I have.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
both. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you
All
again.
right.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to pass the budget. So moved. It's been moved by Commissioner Amareki, supported by Commissioner Baidoon. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? This motion passes. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item E, item E, new business, there is none listed. Moving to item F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I know of none. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item G, public comment.
At this time, Madam Clerk, I would like for you to open up the mics, as well as individuals joining us by Zoom and or by telephone. If you would like to address this committee, to raise your hand or indicate such inside of the chat, and you will have 2 minutes to address this committee.
There are no hands raised and no one is on the telephone and no emails were received.
I'd like to ask, is there anyone present who would like to address this committee? Public comment is closed. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item H, adjournment.
A motion is in order.
So moved.
Moved by Baidoon, supported by Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the meeting